What's up, guys? It's Coach Grant with First Down Training, and today we're going to be talking about what makes wide receivers elite. Okay, so we're going to be talking about three specific things that will take your game to that next level as a wide receiver, what all the best wide receivers in the world are able to do, and then how you guys can really apply that to your game and some of the common mistakes that I see wide receivers make. So I hope this video gives you guys some value, but also, fellas, if you're a wide receiver and you're not necessarily sure what to do on the field, you're not sure the specific workouts, the specific splits, the specific sets and repetitions you need to do with the drills that you see, check out that very first link in the description, fellas, for a 28-day on-field wide receiver workout plan. So it's a specific schedule where we give you 4 weeks of specific workouts with sets, reps, drills, full speed examples, and all the things that you need to do to improve your game as a wide receiver. Here's some example clips. Again, there's going to be a full breakdown of each drill. We show each drill full speed, and then we give you a set day-to-day plan. Hope you guys could check that out soon. Very first link in the description. Let's get started. So this first route is from Judy. Now, what makes a wide receiver elite when it comes to route running is the ability to break in stride. So many guys don't have this ability because so many guys don't know how to do it and they haven't worked it. So when you're working routes and like maybe you're not even on a turf field, you never want to be running up to routes like on a cone. Like you never want to set up a cone like, okay, I'm going to go run up to that cone. I'm going to break down at the cone. You want to be going off of steps. Yeah, you can have a cone there for sure to make sure that you get your hips around. However, you don't want to be thinking about it. You don't want to be that guy that runs up to a yardage and then breaks down and has this slow breakdown because they're thinking about it and they chop their steps. You want to be going off of steps. So like, for example, if you're running a comeback route, like Judy right here, he's running a comeback and go. How many steps is it? One, that's his second inside, third inside. Third inside, he's snapping this thing off. So if it's like a 12 back to 10 or 10 back to 8-yard comeback, I want to be breaking off my third inside step. So when I get onto a field and I can't think about the yardage, I can't think about the steps, it becomes second nature to break right in stride, right? So you see when Judy comes off here, there's no chop before the break. He sells vertical as long as possible. I posted this on Instagram the other day and I asked, why do you think this route worked? And a lot of people said, oh, his ability to sell vertical, right? And yeah, that's 100% true, but you see his stride length. There's no indicator on this that he's going to be actually dropping his hips and coming out of this route. He's staying in complete stride. There's nothing that changes. From off the line, his stride length stays the exact same, and he's able to break right on that stride and drop his hips right on that stride. That's what an elite route runner does. That's what an elite receiver does. You look at all those guys in the league, all those guys that have played, they never have that, like they never get to this point, like the 5-yard line, then their stride starts slowing down. They start cutting their stride down and slowing their speed down to get into a break. What they do is they stay in stride and they trust their hip drop and how low and how violent they're able to get with their hips to be the thing that slows them down and kind of it serves as like that anchor in a ship. You're dropping an anchor in a ship and you got to drop it and the boat just comes to a complete stop. That's how we don't get this DB to react on what we're doing too early. He's forced to react off of us. And when I can do this sudden, that forces a quick change of direction by him. He overreacts and then I can create some separation or just win that race back to the ball if the quarterback's on time with the throw. So it's very, very important, fellas, to be that and to take your route running to that next level. You got to be able to break in stride. You got to be able to train correctly as well. You don't want to be running up to yardage and chopping your feet and thinking about the yardage and slowing down. You want to get in that repetition. Now, some people will say, oh, well, you're counting steps. That means you're thinking. That means you're going to be slow. Well, yeah, at first you're going to be doing that because you've never done it before. You got to make sure that you build that habit. Trust me, ask anybody that I've worked with before, when we count steps the first couple times, it's horrible. They're thinking about it. Their steps are choppy, but you just got to be able to do that. So when you get onto a field, you're not thinking about anything and you could play fast. Because at the end of the day, you know what you got to be able to do? You got to be able to play fast. You can't be looking at the ground, waiting about yardage. You can't be slowing down, preparing for a break because you know you're a little bit too deep on the route. You got to be able to play fast, drop suddenly, and get in and out of a break. Let's watch this thing full speed one more time. There's a great job by Judy here working this route and staying in stride because Judy in this case, guarantee you he's not thinking about steps. However, what he is thinking about is dropping violently and dropping in stride, and that's what we ultimately got to get to. And to make it smooth, you got to be able to go off the steps, and it looks like you're thinking about it. All right, so next clip. So we're looking at this rider from Terrell Owens. So again, Terrell Owens has been out of the league for a while, and again, I know he's going up against a high school DB, but I want to talk to you about the difference between him right here, even being out of the league, even being, some would say, past his prime, but going up against a guy at a college camp, you see the difference between him and an average high school receiver, right? So, and obviously there is a huge difference. One played in the league and one is in high school, but again, there's so many and I'm not saying, the reason why I show this is because this is what you guys should be striving to get to when it comes to top of the route, right? Some people will take this wrong and be like, oh, he's a grown man going up against kids. I really don't care. But this is something that you guys should be able to apply to your game. When you're at the top of the route, you got to be violent with your hips and have a sudden change of direction. So it kind of brings me back to what we were talking about before, right? We're talking about Judy staying in stride. Now, the thing that a lot of guys will do right here when they're running this comeback, it's like a 10 back to 8, right? So he's breaking at 10, coming back to 8. They'll just beat the drum right here. They'll start shattering their feet. They'll start beating the drum with their hands. You don't want to do that. You see how T.O., when he gets out of this thing, he's just running, it's just a drop. And then he's in and out of this thing. It's a smooth break. He's just in and out because there's no indicator like we talked about with Judy's route. There's no indicator with his stride. His stride doesn't change. He doesn't raise his pad level up. He doesn't start chopping his feet and chopping the hands and milking the cow like I like to say. He just drops his hips right now. He's violent with his hips, is able to create energy and then get out of the break. And that sudden drop, fellas, when you're able to actually sell vertical and you have no indicator on the drop, you don't waste time at the top of the break. This is the separation that you're able to get. You know what I'm saying? This kid is probably a little bit more athletic than T.O. is right now because, again, he hasn't played in the league in forever, don't know what kind of shape he's in, but your route running is what gets you separation, fellas. Again, a lot of people talk about this, talk to a lot of people who play DB. They say that the guys that give them the most trouble are not the straightaway speed guys. They're the guys who can change direction fast. They're the guys who are intelligent. They're the guys who are smart route runners and can make everything look the same. Everything's a fade until it's not. And if I don't give you an indicator that it's not going to be a fade, I should be able to get separation every time because of how much time I'm eliminating at the top of the break, not steps, how much time I'm eliminating, and then how I can accelerate back to the ball. It's a great example of that difference. You know what I mean? Like just seeing some of these guys that have played at the highest level and trying to take away what they do from their game to your game. Every receiver's in a different offense, right? Yeah, whether you're in a wing T offense or a freaking air raid offense, coaches are going to be asking you to do different things. Like they don't ask Devontae Adams to do the same things as Stephon Diggs does, just like they don't ask Stephon Diggs to do the same things Adams does, right? And you could really see that. Like the difference that I equate it to is you see the routes that Justin Jefferson runs with the Vikings. Those are the exact same routes that we had Stephon Diggs running, right? And now they switch teams. Now Diggs ain't running those same routes, but he's still thriving, right? Because it's important to be able to adapt to that offense that you're in, adapt to the scheme that they're asking you to play, the routes that they're asking you to run, but you take away these key examples that you see from the best guys in the world doing and apply it to your game. Let's watch the thing full speed one more time. So again, great job, great example, just having that sudden hip drop and being able to get out of that break, okay? So now, last thing that makes a wide receiver elite is having a high football IQ. And you hear me talk about that a lot. And I think one of the main things that you got to understand is just what a DB is trying to accomplish, right? If you guys can understand your opponent, you guys can understand what your opponent's doing, and you could apply that to your own game and structure your routes based off of that, you're going to be able to get separation. You're going to be able to win a lot of routes, right? So we see this DB's inside shade, right? What does that mean? I'm going to play this clip full speed first. So again, we attack his leverage, give him that squirt release, give him a move, and then it's just a race to this back corner. Easy money if the quarterback throws me a good ball on time, right? So let's talk about it. From a DB perspective, why is he inside shade? He's inside shade because he doesn't want you to run inside. And this is something you're going to see a lot on the goal line, and you see that it's like a condensed split right here from Moore. So if it's a condensed split, I know I got some space, but he wants to force me here. He wants me to think right now, oh, he's playing this thing horribly. He's inside shade. I'm just going to go win this race to the corner, and then he's going to be right on my hip and force me straight to the sideline. So I got to make sure that I threaten him where? I want to threaten him to where he doesn't want to go. So I want to square him up, and I want to attack his leverage. Now, in this case, we also got to understand from a DB's perspective, you're on the goal line. Is he going to backpedal? No, he's not going to backpedal. So I don't want to get too close to where he could just get physical and lunge at me and get hands on me, right? To where I cover myself. That's the terminology that I use. So when I come off the line of scrimmage, I square him up. I got some space right here. I know I could work. I got some space to work because he ain't going to backpedal. He's going to keep his leverage to the inside. So I square him up. I'm going to give him a move to the inside. And then what is it? It's just a race to this back corner. If I could just get him to shift his weight to the inside because I threatened him with a little head fake to the inside, then I could get all the way to that outside, no problem. Now, a lot of people ask, like, oh, well, what if he just stays? What if you attack his leverage and then he just kind of stays head up? Then we just take the inside if we run a slant the next play, right? If he's going to play it like that, next time I run this route, I'm going to make it look the exact same. I'm going to square him up. He wants to stay to the outside. Bam, I could just take off on a slant. We got to make him commit, fellas. If we don't make him commit and we don't set up this route based on other routes, I'm not going to be able to get separation. The best guys in the world, they have a high football IQ. They understand how to make their routes look the same because that's ultimately what gets them separation. And that's how a DB can't prepare for you. He's like, man, this guy runs this route exactly like he runs this one. He runs this one just like he runs this one. I don't know. I'm playing a guessing game the whole time. I just got to stay disciplined and trust my technique. And when they're trying to trust their technique of watching your hips, watching that like core area, that's when we can win. Let's watch the thing full speed one more time. Great job working that squirt release, attacking that leverage, and then winning that race to the back corner of the end zone. All right, guys, we want to thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions at all, please feel free to leave those in the comments below. I'll get back to you as soon as possible. I always appreciate the feedback. Always appreciate the things you guys have to say. It helps me come up with new ideas, so I always appreciate it. And then, fellas, again, 28-day on-field wide receiver workout schedule, specific things you need to do to improve your route running, releases, hands, explosiveness, all the above. It's the exact plan that I put my wide receivers through, all broken down for you. Specific video breaking down each drill, full speed examples, sets and reps into a little booklet, dynamic warm-up routine, catching drills, all the above. Hope you can check that out. Very first link in the description. I'll see you guys next time.